we get ready for another opportunity against a really good football team. USC is a very talented, well-coached team. Our focus has been on improvement from the tight end room. Okay. I'm proud of the growth we've seen throughout the season. Our guys have embraced the challenge of working to improve each week. Again, big challenge ahead versus USC. And we're doing everything we can to get ready and prepared to go. With that being said, open it up for questions.
All right, first question is from Mitch Fick.
Morning, Abdul.
How you doing, Mitch?
Doing well. DJ told me a few weeks back that Hayden isn't just the heart and soul of your room, he's the heart and soul of this team. Just how have you seen him grow into that responsibility and on top of it, play a pretty important role out on the field as well?
Yeah, I think Large not only is obviously a great asset to the tight ends room, but he's also grown to gain the respect of the guys in the locker room as well, and it's as well as the coaching staff. And I think he's embraced that challenge. I think he naturally he's a leader, but more importantly, he does things the right way. You're talking about a kid that transferred in from another university, and just since he's been here, the only thing he's been focusing on is improvement and just showing his work. I was a place, if you show up and you put your head down and work extremely hard and you're invested, okay, you'll gain the respect of the guys in the locker room and as well as the coaches. So Large is a great asset, not just for the tight end room, but he's also coaching the field. He's in two out of three phases. He's doing a great job for us offensively, but also he's on three out of six units on special teams.
Tyler Tashman.
Hey Abdul, good to see you. Just curious, how's Addison doing in his recovery? And obviously that's a big challenge for someone to face. How have you kind of just seen him deal with that setback and try to come back from it?
Yep, it was a huge blow, not only for our team, but for Addison his senior year. Obviously, he got hurt during the second game of the season, but since then, he's continued to be engaged. He's kind of in a coach's role right now. 'Cause he helped me with some of the breakdowns and give me information about guys on the field. But more importantly, he's still a guy that's continuously showing up early, continuously working to get better every day. Every time I see him, it seems like he's progressing in terms of his rehab, but he's still locked in. He's a guy that just his presence alone, being in that room, is valuable. Not just for myself, but the guys that are on the field. So he has a long road ahead of him, and he's just taking it day by day.
Madison.
Hey, Coach, nice to meet you. Following up with that question on Addison, how have you seen some of these guys like DJ and Hayden take on a little bit more of that responsibility on the field since Addison hasn't been able to step up and has assumed a little bit more of that coaching role?
Yeah, great question. So, just watching guys in the room, and those guys have, both of those guys have been here when, and saw understand Luke Lachey and when he got injured, and Eric All and when he got injured. So, part of this, my speech at the beginning of the season is just everyone in this room got to be ready to go. You never know when your number is going to be called, okay, and you have to prepare like you're gonna be a starter. You're gonna be a starter, and that's hard to do. You say, hey, make sure you're preparing when you're the starter, but you're second or you're third on the depth. That's just about being focused and locked in, and just understanding that the next man up may be one or two plays away. And I think Large and DJ and Oatworth and even guys like that you haven't seen, those guys have been working in the back end extremely hard. They do everything we tell them to do, whether that's offense, whether that's special teams, whether that's, hey, man, right now it's not your turn, it's not your time up, but you got to prepare and be ready to go because you never know. And I think those guys have done a great job, whether they play, 50 reps a game or 10 reps a game. If you get your opportunity, we're going to need you to show up and play at a high level because that's why those guys put the work in the offseason. So far, I've been extremely proud of the way those guys have approached their work.
Tyler.
Just curious with your three true freshmen, Eli, Thomas, and Mason. I guess just kind of what have you seen from them behind the scenes?
Yep, just starting with Thomas Meyer. He's a guy that came in. I think he picked things up extremely well and is seamless. He do a lot of things that's naturally, but he also puts his head down his work. He's a guy that's been traveling with us, traveling with the team since the first game. And I was close to putting him in the game last week. I just waited too late, and I didn't want to throw him in the second half. But hopefully, we can see him this week. He's a guy that I think is going to be really special in our program if he, God willing, he stays healthy. He continue to work. In terms of Eli Johnson and Mason Woods, two young guys that we just continuously working in the back end to improve. The way our program is structured, we invest a ton of time in Devo reps, post practice. So that's where those guys are getting their reps in the back end, and then they're working over at the scout field, just going against the number one and the number two defense. Whether it's reps on special teams, whether it's reps on scout team, or you're in the varsity field, the goal is to improve every single day and take advantage of your opportunity and get better because you never know when your number is going to get called.
All right, Tyler again.
I mean, I know that the way the offense is built, you're already going to be running the ball a lot, but it seems like that's really been just a huge part of what you guys have done recently. I'm curious as to how you keep guys engaged and motivated when maybe, it's in the tight end room, it's not being necessarily reflected in their targets or catches or touchdowns. How do you kind of approach that as a coach?
Great question, Tyler. The how I tell those guys is, for one, you got to get the right guys in the room. You got to get the right guys you got to get guys in a room that love playing football. You have to get guys in a room that love Iowa football and want to be here. And you got to put a bunch of guys in a room that are selfless. And the name of the game is to win the football game. And whether that's running the ball 40, 50 times a game, really you're not going to get targeted. Okay. As long as we're on that field, whether it's offense or special team, okay, we got to do it. We got to do our job. And then we gotta be available because when the opportunity presents itself, we have to cash in. If you take a look at one of the one of the catches that DJ had this past weekend, man, we ran that throughout the entire season, but we never hit it. And what I tell those guys, whether we run it 100 times or 2 times, you got to be ready and expect that the ball is going to come to you because when you don't, okay, the one chance you get or the one opportunity you get, you're not going to be ready for it. And we showed that look. That look showed up in the first half. And then when he saw it again, DJ executed. Mark saw him and found him, and he finished the play. He caught it and he finished the play, and it was a big play for us. So you never know what it's going to be. On top of that, those guys know Stiliano's got an opportunity to play at the next level. He had 8 catches. You got guys like Parker Hesse who played fullback and tight end in the NFL. Okay, I'm talking about guys thinking about life after they leave Iowa in terms of football. And I don't know if Parker Hesse ever took a rep at tight end, but what I tell those guys is, just put our head down. Whatever is asked of us, whatever Coach Lester, the team needs for us to be successful and execute, that's what we're going to do. But we have to start winning games. How we win games is going to be on the ground. It's going to be through the offensive line. It's going to be through the tight ends. So we got to make sure we're taking care of our business, and then we get opportunities in a passing game. We got to cash in and be ready to go.
Mitch.
Just going back to DJ, awesome seeing him make plays in the passing game, but he's still learning the position in so many ways. Just how have you seen him adapt to the grittier side of playing tight end, especially in an Iowa offense, and just having to learn so much so quickly, and then Addison goes down and his role really expands, even as he was starting to flash, it felt like coming into the fall.
Yeah, that grittiness we saw from DJ when he came to camp, when he came to our prospect camp a couple years ago. And former high school quarterback, played on defense, played safety, played linebacker. Just naturally a tough kid. Um, and what I tell guys is you got to choose the way you play the game. Like it's literally a choice. And I think he's choosing to play the game the right way. He loved the physical part or the physical aspects of the game, but he's a very talented kid. And you got to think about a guy that played quarterback in high school. When you're the quarterback, you're watching everything. You're involved in the run game. You're involved in the passing game. You're watching the receivers. You're watching the running back tracks. You're watching the offensive line and tight ends. So he just does a lot of things naturally, but I think it comes from him from the history of him playing quarterback in high school. And then on top of that, those guys know in order to get on the field here at Iowa is a certain way you got to play the game, and they're choosing to play it the right way, which is fast and physical.
Madison.
I wanted to ask a little bit more about just kind of this particular matchup this weekend. What have you seen out of USC's defense? They're one of the better teams in the Big Ten this year, but they haven't been as talked about as some of like the Indiana and Ohio States. What have you guys seen from film and how the tight end room could potentially match up against the defensive line and potential pressures to get those catches and touchdown opportunities?
Yeah, first and foremost, they're a well improved team. I believe a season ago they were 6-6. I think now they're 7-2. Well coached team. When you watch their personnel, you got a lot of tall. It seems like everyone's 6'4", 6'5", and long and athletic, right? So you got to be able to play in space. Okay, but more importantly, the focus have to be on us. We got to do what we do. We got to turn into a type of game that we want to turn it into. But they're a well coached team. They do a lot of things up front schematically to give you a lot of different looks. They get in and out of a lot of different personnels. So I think we've been just preparing. We just finished up our third practice. Thought our guys took advantage of the 3 opportunities this week to get better. But there's a long time. We're away some kickoff. So we just got to keep working, keep showing them the looks, keep doing our homework. Okay, keep preparing, and then when Saturday comes, we have to be ready to go because they're a really really good football team.
All right, I think that should do it this morning. Thank you for your time, Abdul.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.